the world moves forward with time, leaving its mark in this infinite universe. In this world glitters the pearl of the Indian Ocean. You are now entering the perfect city of NIBM. It is a city of the future, ensuring your freedom. It is a city of hearts, placing no restriction on your thoughts and teaching you to love the world as a whole. It is a city guiding you to rightful technology and making you understand the value of education. This is that city's greatest school of higher education. Come, let us now enter NIBM. School of Computing, a high-tech mission containing the modern society of computer revolution and all information related to it. NIBM also houses computer laboratories, libraries, lecture halls and auditoriums equipped with the latest technology. School of Engineering, the workstation encompassing the most developed and sharpest sectors in the future world of work. School of Business, door to the path leading to success in the world of business. School of Design, the sky that creates endless stars in a galaxy of fashion and interior decor. School of Language, the most beautiful journey of learning to understand people and the universe. World-recognized degree programs of this nature are not only available at the main campus of NIBM, located in Colombo 7, and the National Innovation Center located in Colombo 5, but also in the main cities of Galle, Kandy, Kurunegala, and Mathura. NIBM has revolutionized the traditional education system, which restricted students to their classrooms, and is now unconditionally supporting the different extracurricular activities that develop the talents of their students. NIBM has a stable capital and comprises a management in the international level, equipped to carry out all operations in the most fit and proper manner. The said capacity is completely invested to expand knowledge of many children who have been engulfed in the traditional education system. As NIBM is a higher education institute owned by the government of Sri Lanka, students and their parents can place their complete trust on the institution. Therefore, the doors of NIBM would always affectionately be open to the youth representing generations who will be the winners of tomorrow, entering the city of the future along the path of freedom, love, and fellowship. Leadership, stability, quality, technology, and innovation together creates a smart student population for a smart era. For a smart era is the path to success, the modern thinking of NIBM. NIBM, powering great minds.
Hi, my name's Meg. I'm an arts law student at Deacon's Burwood campus. This place is usually teeming with people, but I wanted to make sure I could give you an uninterrupted, all-access look around, so I spoke to the right people, and today we've got the entire place to ourselves. What I love about the Burwood campus is the energy and sense of community. And with 26,000 students and 1,500 staff, it's not hard to see why. The one spot you are guaranteed to find all of us is the library. It's cleverly placed smack bang in the middle of campus with 3 levels of unending possibility. Study sessions are made easy with bookable spaces for both group study and quiet solo focus, and there's plenty of staff available for even the most obscure request. Perhaps the most valuable resource are the library liaisons, who are dedicated to helping you with your particular course or specialist study area. Very handy. The Deakin Library Network extends across our 4 campuses, and it doesn't matter what time of day you do your best work because Deakin Library is available online 24/7. Another universal resource is Student Central, which is dotted around the campus. The hub in Central Precinct includes everything from the Health and Wellbeing Centre, prayer and multi-faith rooms, parents' rooms, the Disability Resource Centre, and the Deakin Active Fitness Centre. Recently refurbished to provide more floor space for on-demand classes, here you'll find state-of-the-art cardio and strength machinery and a varied collection of traditional group fitness classes. There are also footy ovals near the beautiful Gardeners Creek and 2 full-size basketball courts. Another invaluable resource is DUSA, the Deakin University Student Association. DUSA is run by students for students, and it opens up a world of clubs, societies and social events. It even gives you a chance to flex your leadership muscles. At Burwood, we're lucky enough to have our very own art gallery. Inside these walls, you'll find a quiet space to reflect and reset as you immerse yourself in contemporary art. Of course, our artwork isn't just kept inside. Deakin has around 2,300 pieces across our campuses, which means it's almost impossible to turn a corner without seeing a painting, print, sculpture, even an art tram. Deakin courses all share a unique focus on hands-on learning, teaching you practical skills to prepare you for the real world. So our film and TV, digital media and animation students are ready to slide straight into the film and television industry after studying in our state-of-the-art industry-standard television studio. Journalism students get exposed to the skills and experiences they'll need in the newsroom and creative media labs, where collaboration and agility are encouraged across mixed broadcast mediums. The Raymond Trotter Primary Classroom provides our teaching students with an engaging and interactive learning environment, which is just like a real classroom. A combination of carpeted and hard floor areas support a hybrid of arts and crafts skill development. And a fully functioning kitchen makes things, well, delicious. Innovation continues in our cutting-edge sustainable Deakin Law School building. Alongside advanced facilities and 2 levels of support and wellbeing services, students have access to flexible and interactive learning spaces that are designed with the needs of the modern student in mind. Inside the walls of the Deakin Business School, you can test your trading skills and get practical learning and insights with the simulated FX trading floor feeding real-time market information from ASX and Bloomberg. Business analytics students dive headfirst into a world of data to find creative business solutions. They frequently assist in research collaboration in a broad range of real-world business, education and community sectors in the immersive DISBA Computer Lab. The Exercise and Sports Science building boasts 4 levels of world-class specialised facilities. A climate chamber, running lanes and 3D motion capture system are just a few of the features. The school is rounded off with the Deakin Clinical Exercise Centre, a real-life exercise physiology clinic where students meet real clients to conduct assessments and create exercise and lifestyle programs under supervision. Cutting-edge nutrition research feeds back into the national food industry through our Food Innovation and Sensory Labs at the Centre for Advanced Sensory Science, or CAS for short. The Deakin Burwood campus is also home to purpose-built nursing and midwifery clinical simulation centres. The simulated clinical settings that replicate hospital and community environments help develop essential, industry-ready graduates. Running through the centre of campus is the Gardeners Creek Parklands, which offer beautiful bike and walking tracks and a chance to disconnect from study and reconnect with nature. Bliss. Oh, did I mention we have robots? The Riot Lab houses the latest in computing, robotics and cyber-physical systems to inspire our future IT professionals. Chemistry, physiology and biology students enjoy large modern teaching labs, and our high-tech environment research labs are fitted out with geographic information systems, infrared motion sensing, wildlife cameras and tracking technology. There's a good chance all this learning and innovating will make you hungry. Lucky for you, the Burwood campus celebrates great food culture. Everything from vegan to halal to gluten-free food is on offer, right alongside the all-important single-origin fair trade coffee. Getting to Burwood is super easy. From Melbourne CBD, we're just a 30-minute drive, or roughly an hour's ride on train, bus or tram. Of course, if you want to be closer, you could always live on campus. This This multicultural community of just over 1,100 students live in a mix of state-of-the-art contemporary housing and traditional village living, with full access to Deakin facilities, round-the-clock reception, security support for all residents, and year-round exclusive events. The Student Res community connects you to more than just the university. And that's it, your ultra-exclusive look at the Burwood campus. There is so much more to check out, so be sure to connect with the campus videos for Waterfront, Warn Ponds and Warrnambool. See you on campus.
A very good morning, dear students and parents. Welcome to NIBM Global Careers 2021. Giving you all a warm welcome and hoping you all are staying safe at home. Let me begin this very important program that we have lined up for you all today, coming all the way from the National Institute of Business Management and Deakin University of Australia. Well, speaking of education, I would say education is the passport to the future, for the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Heartfelt congratulations, my dear students, from all of us, for all of you who face the London ordinary level and advanced level examinations, and to also the other local students who are joining with us today, who have completed their O-level and A-level qualification. Well, speaking of the National Institute of Business Management, as you all know, NIBM is a higher education institution with a legacy of over 52 years in the field of training and development, with its vision of becoming the best management education institute in Sri Lanka. NIBM has been offering you unmatched opportunities in the fields of business, computing, engineering, languages and design, as you saw in the videos that were showcased beforehand as well. Well, speaking of the field of education, NIBM offers the mature and the employed students with the opportunity to obtain well-recognized degree programs in the fields of interests, like the fields of computing, engineering, business, and also we have agriculture coming in from this year onwards. You know, within different parts of the country with the different campuses, the branches that we have in Kandy, Kurunegala, Galle, and Mathura. So with the advancements of science and technology, it is seen that a futuristic workforce is essential for the sustainable development of the national economy. So NIBM has also established the National Innovation Center and the Kandy Innovation Center, collaborating with the private and the public sectors of the nation to encourage research and the development of the country, collaborating also with the School of Computing and Engineering in the different fields of big data analytics, data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And also, dear students, we also cater to the specific needs of the industry through the different customized training programs that we have in place at NIBM. And also we do have close to 12,000 students studying the different degree programs, either online or the blended programs. And the best part is, especially when we speak of the COVID pandemic, one question that the parents have is whether the facilities are provided for the students to study online. So with the COVID outbreak, NIBM did not have any problem. Starting from the 15th of March 2020, we had our NIBM Digital Campus in place way beforehand to make sure that we have our lecture modules all smoothly functioning for our students, including the other activities that were conducted online for our students through our NIBM Digital Campus. So these are some important areas that I would like to highlight. And also with the new normal, with the bloom of developments of information communication technology and its collaboration in the different fields of engineering, medical sciences, and business, NIBM School of Computing and Engineering, we decided to organize this webinar for the students who have completed their ordinary level and the advanced level examination to educate you all about our new higher education partnership with the Deakin University of Australia, where you get a lot of benefits that a local student would be getting being in Sri Lanka while enjoying the comforts of being with your family and being with your parents, where you can study the first 2 years freely in Sri Lanka, saving a lot of finances, and eventually transfer to Australia in your final years to get that wonderful international experience. So, dear students, speaking of the entry requirements, I'd also like to highlight that 5 credits for your ordinary level examination, including ICT and English, and mathematics and English, is one important area that we are looking at. And if you have sat for your advanced level examination and if you are waiting for your results, you need not worry. With your ordinary level examination results, you can freely walk into the National Institute of Business Management and register for your degree program. Why should we waste our time anymore, isn't it? So, speaking of the Deakin University of Australia, it is among the top 1% of all universities of the world, ranked in top 50 universities of the world as a university who has been offering world-class degrees for over 45 plus years with global rankings. And we at NIBM, we are very much proud to state that we are in this important academic collaboration now with Deakin University, an exclusive collaboration bringing you the opportunity to study 3 different degree programs through the School of Computing and Engineering of NIBM. So let me now take this opportunity to introduce to you a few key pointers. Now, you might wonder why join NIBM? Being the oldest higher education institution in terms of the institutions that have been offering computer science and engineering, higher educational qualifications and degree programs over the past 52 plus years, you need not really worry about anything when it comes to getting your education from this higher education institution, which is National Institute of Business Management, which is a fully state-owned government institution. And it operates under the statutory body under the State Ministry of Skills Development, Vocational Education, Research and Innovation, and connecting with the top high-ranked universities of the world, providing you with that global experience, the international exposure and experience for you to become the best professionals in the industry out there. And also the modern computer labs with the latest technologies. As I mentioned, the IBM Digital Campus offering you the distant learning opportunities wherever you are. It's just a matter of logging into the NIBM Digital Campus and making sure that you complete your lectures, your examinations without any delay for that matter. Well qualified academic and industry specialists. Being a higher education institution, having a long history, we have a very strong collaboration with the top companies and the industry specialists around in and out of Sri Lanka, and getting them involved in the academic module upgrades to all that helps us make sure that we cater the best quality education to your students, to you all. And also another important program that we have, which is very unique at NIBM, is the critical enabling skills and training module, which is considered a compulsory module for all our students studying in the different faculties that I was speaking about, to make sure when they really move to their second year, they develop their leadership skills, the attitudes that are required for them to grab the best opportunities in the industry. So we have a team of professionals, speakers who join in for this important program, and we also also have a United Nations UNDP collaboration where our students get to experience an international experience in terms of doing a project in the Sustainable Development Goals. And they really get to connect with the UNDP team to learn what social innovation and entrepreneurship is all about. And eventually, the CREST module itself paves the pathway for the students to really think big and think large about becoming job creators rather than job seekers in Sri Lanka. And also, speaking of the extracurricular activities and the career opportunities that NIBM Career Guidance Unit provides, we provide all of these opportunities to make sure we transform a student who enters the university to become a professional in the industry. And apart from that, we have the student engagement events happening throughout the year to make sure that we engage students from different faculties together to get them that experience and exposure of working with a team and experiencing the different opportunities that a university has to offer. And one other most important aspect, the last point that you would want to consider is that NIBM has been a higher education institution that has always been providing over 95% job opportunities for our students. Do you know why this is? Now, when it comes to NIBM, unlike any other university, our students maybe after the first year or maybe after the second year, they are given the opportunity to go for industrial training program and then eventually get the internship opportunity and get themselves stabilized in their jobs. So that is something very unique about NIBM as well, which is an opportunity that we give for our students of all our faculties. Coming back to this important program that we have lined up for you all today, speaking of the NIBM and the Deakin partnership, let me tell you, if you have completed your GCE ordinary level examination, we understand that especially the London curriculum students of Sri Lanka have been going through a very, very tough time with the examinations being postponed several times, results being not able to be released at the proper time that they expected. And at least we are glad that the maths and the science students were able to receive the results just a couple of days back. Congratulations to you all. However, do not worry about your future. We here at NIBM School of Computing and Engineering, we are ready to take care of you all along with Deakin University partnership that we have to help you all explore that dream of getting an international degree, especially an Australian degree from the Deakin University of Australia. So if you have completed your ordinary level examination, you are able to, with your 5 credits, including ICT and English or Maths and English, you are able to directly register with our diploma program and then move on to the HND and finally graduate with your degree, spending the first 2 years in Sri Lanka and the last 1.5 to 2 years in Australia. And also, if you are a student who has set for your advanced level examination, that is all that we require, especially when it comes to registering for the software engineering specialization degree program that we have in place for you all, where you will be able to also join the diploma directly and then move forward. So keeping all that in mind, let me also tell you, you have the opportunity to register with 3 important degree programs, the Bachelor of Information Technology, Bachelor of Software Engineering Honors, and Bachelor of Business Analytics, which is an exclusive degree program that we have for our students here in Sri Lanka for the very first time, one of the important degrees that have a very important place in the industry out there when it comes to the business and technology combining together in the future. So keeping all of that in mind, let us now take this opportunity to have a look at what Deakin University Information Technology degree is all about and what Deakin has to offer to you all. Let's take a look at this and let's move forward with the program.
At Deakin, our IT covers all of the areas that are important to industry, and this is a very wide spectrum of needs, covering things from the very technical, programming, software development and systems and cloud computing, right through to the professional and creative skills that are critical for the IT industry.
I did a lot of research about all the universities that are here. Deakin University really grabbed my attention with all of the vast variety of courses and units it has.
The different areas you can pursue in the School of IT are information technology, computer science, cybersecurity, and software engineering.
IT graduates are very lucky. They are needed by all industry sectors. A recent survey actually showed 2/3 of our graduates were employed in industries where their core business wasn't with IT.
IT graduates get opportunity to work in almost every field, say it be medical, education.
Finance, healthcare, government, mining, agriculture.
Web development, another would be a programmer on software applications.
So I think IT graduates have really good opportunities everywhere in every field.
At Deakin, our courses have been designed to have industry exposure at all levels. These are done through our final year capstone projects, which use projects sourced from industry in the real world, where students have to interact and engage with the industries to develop the solutions that they need.
For a career, I want to get into artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. And I'm on the right path with Deakin.
I've learned so many new things which I never thought I would learn, like robotics, virtual reality, and I've learned C++ programming, I've learned SQL programming, I've learned pseudocode, I've learned a little bit about Python language as well. So I think it's really great.
The demand for IT skills going forward is not going to slow down. It's continuing at a rapid pace. Our graduates play an important role in helping industries transform into the modern digital era, allowing them to be innovative and productive.
So my dear students, borders being closed and pandemic situation, all of us, we're going through a tough time. But like I mentioned to you all, you need not worry. You are being taken care of by the National Institute of Business Management, School of Computing and Engineering in terms of giving the best education to you all. So start your global education today with NIBM to get your degree program through NIBM and eventually transfer to Deakin University of Australia. Well, speaking of the different advantages that I'd like to bring forward to you studying these degree programs, you would be able to approximately save 8.2 million rupees a year. If you had to transfer directly to Australia, the cost would have been very, very high. But now that as NIBM was able to get this partnership sorted for you all, you're able to save that amount of finances and make sure that you travel after 1.5 to 2 years. And free IELTS coaching and examination facility provided by the Faculty of Languages of the National Institute of Business Management is another very important aspect, a unique aspect that you would want to consider. You really need not worry. We would handle all your IELTS requirements for you. And the scholarships opportunities that are available being offered by Deakin University itself, especially during a pandemic situation. We will be having all of those scholarship opportunities explained to you in our program today. And also, you might want to consider the different exclusive loan schemes opportunities that NIBM has brought forward to you all, especially with this Deakin partnership. So now I'd like to take this opportunity, keeping you all reminded of it all. Let us move on to an important keynote session by Mr. Adrian Tu, who is joining with us all the way from Deakin University of Australia. He is the partnerships coordinator, the international partnerships of the Faculty of Science and Engineering and Built-in Environments of the Deakin University of Australia, who is going to educate you all about why the information technology degree of Deakin University is important and how it's going to make an impact in your life if you take it up today. Over to you, Mr. Adrian Tu. A very good day to you.
Good day to you, Dr. Bodema, and thank you for the introduction. I'd also like to just quickly take an opportunity to introduce my colleagues joining me today in presenting. So as Dr. Budimer mentioned before, my name is Adrian So. I'm the Partnerships Coordinator for the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Built Environment at Deakin University. We shorten that to CB, so you might hear that quite often. I'm joined by Mr. Nicholas Tranquil. He is the Coordinator of International Partnerships in Deakin's Faculty of Business and Law. So hi Nick. And I'm also joined by Ms. Sandy Senavaratne, who is the Senior Partnerships Coordinator for our Sri Lankan country office under Deakin International. So thanks for joining us today as well, Sandy. So just a bit about the session, the part of the session that I'll be doing. So I'll be introducing Deakin University. I'll also introduce CB as a faculty and a bit about the School of IT. I'll introduce a bit about the NIBM and Deakin Pathway Program, what it entails, and a bit more information about that. I'll go through a bit about the ACS and Engineers Australia's accreditation and what this means for our programs. I'll also talk about work placements and getting our graduates job ready and the importance that this is for students who are particularly looking for career or work after they graduate, and a bit about balancing work and study. And then my colleague Nick will then proceed to talk about the pathway from NIBM into the Faculty of Business and Law. So Deakin University, we ranked in the top 1% universities worldwide, according to Shanghai rankings. We are a young university, so we were established in 1974, and we are ranked in the top 50 under 50 in the world. So 47 years old, so we still got 3 more years before we can go above 50. So we're very proud of being ranked in the top 50 under 50 years of age. The next one we're actually quite proud of. We have the most satisfied students in the Australian state of Victoria for 11 consecutive years. So that's just it just shows how much Deakin cares about the satisfaction of our students, how much emphasis we place on student satisfaction. So in terms of getting job placements, job outcomes, the curriculum that we have, it's all very student-centric. So it's no surprise that a lot of our students are satisfied and they graduate satisfied. And we also ranked first with University Career Services in Australia. And this is due to our employment services branch of Deakin called Deakin Talent. Now, my colleague Nick will talk a bit more about Deakin Talent a bit later on, but just keep that in mind that it is one of the best in Australia. So Deakin University has 4 physical campuses in the state of Victoria, and of course we have our 5th campus, which we consider, which is the Cloud Campus. So we have a couple main campuses, but Melbourne Burwood Campus is in the city of Melbourne. We have 2 campuses in the city of Geelong. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of Geelong before, Geelong is a regional city about 1 to 1.5 hours west of the city of Melbourne. That's where our Geelong Waterfront and Geelong Wamponds campus are at. Now, it's not by any means a small city. There's a population of 300,000 people in Geelong. It's a very diverse and multicultural city. And it's actually where our first campus was. So Geelong was actually, Deakin was actually established in Geelong. Our Wamponds campus is actually was our first campus. And of course, we also have a Warrnambool campus as well, which is about 3 hours west of the city of Melbourne, where we have a lot of our aquaculture and environmental science programs there. We have 5 schools in the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Built Environment. That's the School of Architecture and Construction Management, the School of Engineering, the School of Environmental Science, or LES, Information Technology, and Science. So these are the 5, Environmental Study Sciences. Science is actually the same school, which is the Life and Environmental Sciences. So there's actually 4 schools, not 5, sorry. My apologies for that. But the 2 I'll be focusing on today would be, the one I'm focusing on today is information technology. Software engineering, despite being an engineering program, is actually taught by a School of Information Technology. So just keep that in mind. So the School of IT at a glance, it's one of our largest schools in our faculty. So altogether, we have 3,725 students enrolled in both undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Our campuses, you can see there, our Burwood campus is actually the larger of the 2 where our courses are taught. So our Melbourne Burwood campus and Wampons campus is where we hold our IT undergraduate programs. And as you can see there, the Burwood campus is the larger of the 2, followed by a cloud campus. In terms of citizenship, you can see there that with the School of IT, there's a fairly even number of domestic and international students. And with the countries of origin, we are very multicultural. We have students from India, China, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Vietnam. So we have a lot of societies that are cultural based. So if you are looking to join a Sri Lankan club or society, there is one available. There's also cricket and other sporting clubs to be that you can join. So there's a lot of diversity within the school. We're also ranked in the top 100 for computer science and engineering, according to QS World University rankings. So that just shows, especially how much Deakin has worked hard on providing a excellent curriculum to our students. So Deakin University School of IT has a very strong connection to industry. Now, what that means is that our academics liaise with industry regularly, and that actually forms a large part of our curriculum. So each year we review our courses, and if we feel that industry, if there's a gap in industry that our students can help fill, we will alter our courses to ensure that the gaps are filled and our graduates are ready to join industry once they graduate. So IT professionals are employed across all of the 19 industry sectors in Australia, as you would have seen in the video before. And it's certainly a growing industry. There's a lot of skill shortages in IT, especially around cybersecurity, data science, software development. As Dr. Michael Hobbs mentioned before in his video, 2/3 of our graduates are employed in non-IT IT companies. So it's a very large skilled area in Australia. We place a lot of emphasis on getting graduates job ready, and I'll go into a bit about the units that we cover where students can get practical work experience during the study. So it's not just theoretical knowledge that students gain. We place a very strong emphasis on practical experience within the programs. So the NIBM Deakin pathway, there are a few options. So with the Diploma in Computer Systems and Design and Diploma in Network Engineering, you're eligible to articulate into the second year of our Bachelor of IT program. And for students who are doing a Diploma in Software Engineering or a Higher National Diploma in Software Engineering at NIBM, you would then articulate into the second year of Deakin's Bachelor of Software Engineering Honours program. Now, with Deakin's Bachelor of Software Engineering Honours, this is a 4-year degree normally. So you do have a year taken off when you join from NIBM. And with the Bachelor of Information Technology, that is actually a 3-year program. So the reason the Bachelor of Software Engineering Honours program is 4 years is because there's an honours year built into the program. So the Bachelor of Information Technology is offered at our Burwood campus and our Wampons campus. So it's offered at both Melbourne and Geelong. And there is IT placement built in, and I'll talk about that a bit later. The Bachelor of Software Engineering Honours program is only offered at our Burwood campus, so there's no presence in One Ponds or in Geelong, but there is an engineering placement built into that as well. So the Bachelor of Information Technology is a very general degree. You have the opportunity to study a few different majors. So the majors include application development, network and cloud computing, creative technologies, cybersecurity, game design and development. And you also have a variety of different minors that you can do as well. So if you're unsure about what area you'd like to specialize in, the Bachelor of Information Technology has the flexibility for you to choose one of 5 majors, depending on where your interests lie, which is a great thing. And of course, if your interests you have interest elsewhere as well, you can always do a minor. So for example, if you're interested in cybersecurity and game design, you can do a major in cybersecurity and then do a minor in game design. So this is the course map and how this course structure looks. As you can see, the first year is very general, and you don't have to worry about this because you'll receive credit from your time at NIBM. And from the second year, that's when you begin to do your major and minor units. And there's a unit there as well for IT placement or industry-based learning. And of course, there's also a project, capstone project that you do in your final year. And again, I'll talk about that a bit later. But as you can see, there's a lot of practical experience and the ability for you to specialize in whatever you like. So this is, as I mentioned before, a very general and flexible program in the area of IT. Next, we have the Bachelor of Software Engineering Honours. As I mentioned before, this is a 4-year program with an honours year built in. So it focuses on software engineering in the context of Internet of Things, cyber physical systems and robotic applications, smart systems, and as I mentioned before, there's a lot of emphasis on professional practice and project-oriented learning. So with the Bachelor of Software Engineering, as it is an engineering program as well, there's project-oriented design-based learning in that. So that's Deacon's way of giving students project-based learning and giving them that experience early in their studies rather than towards the end of the program. So from the second year onwards, this is where you have your project design-oriented design-based learning units, where you have the opportunity to work in groups on projects that is assigned to you, and you also have your theoretical units as well. So you're getting the theoretical and practical knowledge in project management. You also have a Team Project A and Team Project B as well. So these are capstone units. So both the Bachelor of IT and the Bachelor of Software Engineering have capstone projects. And with the honours year, you have Research Project A and Research Project B. So this is these 2 units are getting you up to scratch in terms of your research skills. So the great thing about this program is if you're unsure about whether you want to pursue a research pathway or industry pathway, so that means if you want to pursue a PhD, you can certainly do that as well after the software engineering program. Or if you'd like to work in industry after you graduate, you're welcome to do that as well. This is the great thing about having to do an honours program within the 4 years. This is more of a specialised program. As you can see, there's no majors or minors. There are a few electives that you can do. So you can do these, pick any units from around the university. If you'd like to choose some from the Faculty of Business and Law, or you'd like to choose them from other science areas, you're welcome to do that. So you have that bit of flexibility there. But as you can see, majority of the units are centered around software engineering. So both of our programs are accredited by the Australian Computer Society, otherwise known as ACS. And ACS is the largest professional body in Australia representing the ICT sector. So ACS accreditation is only awarded to an institution and its programs after evaluation of our capacity to produce graduates who have knowledge and skills required of an ICT professional. So what this means is that every few years, ACS reviews our curriculum and our graduates and ensures that the curriculum that we're teaching, as I mentioned before about the gaps in industry, that our IT graduates are fully capable to practice in the industry once they graduate. So it's a very prestigious accreditation to have. And likewise with EA, otherwise known as Engineers Australia, our Bachelor of Software Engineering has EA accreditation on top of the ACS accreditation, so it's accredited by both. And the great thing about having Engineers Australia's accreditation is that it's under Washington Accord signatory. So this means that the IESL in Sri Lanka recognizes our degree, so students can actually, graduates can actually practice as engineers in Sri Lanka as well. So I mentioned a bit before about the industry capstone projects. So you saw that there was a Project A and Project B unit built into our two programs. And this is where students have the opportunity to form squads or groups, and they are actually mentored. So students in Team Project B, which is in the second half of the year, mentor students who are starting the project in Team Project A, which is in the first half of the year. And you work on current projects and tackle problems that organizations have. So a lot of it is based around product development, and you have the opportunity to use a lot of state-of-the-art facilities in order to work with the group to develop your project management skills, and also work on bringing a product from its beginning early stages to its final stages towards being able to solve an issue or problem that a company has. So the Capstone Discovery Lab is an area that we have on our Burwood campus that has a lot of facilities for our capstone project units, capstone project students to make use of. So there's a lot of workstations, and there's a launchpad incubator. So for those of you who don't know what that is, and a launchpad incubator is where it's where a lot of ideas are generated on product development and software development. So it's a new space, and it's a very utilized space because a lot of our students, as you will know, have to do the projects in their courses. So the whole purpose of having our capstone projects and IT placement units built into our programs is to, of course, get the students job ready. So a lot of courses, different universities in Australia may offer IT courses, but the difference is having the practical experience once you graduate certainly gives you more opportunities when you're looking for work, and it just gives you that exposure to real life industries and project management skills that you otherwise wouldn't have just by focusing on the theoretical knowledge in your bachelor's program. So the two units that are centered around IT engineering placements is SRT 306 and SCP 499. So for Bachelor of IT students, you will be doing SRT 306. And for software engineering students, you will be doing SCP 499. And this is where you get a minimum of 100 hours working in industry with an approved host company. Now, we have a work integrated learning team within the faculty, and they might have opportunities ready for you, but these opportunities are quite competitive. So not all students may be offered a opportunity directly, but we will provide you with the skills necessary to be able to find a internship or placement yourself. So we won't just leave you there high and dry. We will help you look for an opportunity if you are unable to source one through us. So some of the facilities involved in these programs is the Riot Lab. So the Riot Lab is the robotics and Internet of Things. So as you can see there, there's some some robots, and there's a little green area where the robots are able to walk around. So the great thing about this lab is that it gives students the opportunity to program their own robots, learn more about coding and software development. And for students who are actually studying via Cloud Deakin, our cloud campus, they can actually remote log in to this lab and control the robots virtually. So it's a very cool lab, and it's not just limited to students who are studying on campus. And that's particularly important particularly in today's environment where a lot of our studying is done online due to COVID. Some of our other facilities in the School of IT include the VR lab, there's the Cisco lab and security lab. So a lot of our cybersecurity students make use of that. There's a games lab. I mentioned the Discovery lab before, the Riot lab / robotics lab, and there's also a Mac lab as well for those who have interest in Macs. The faculty also offers a peer support network program, otherwise known as the PSN program. Now, this is for students who enroll in our programs for the first time. So this will probably apply to all of you if you decide to join one of our programs at Deakin. It's where a mentor, so a student who has been with Deakin for at least a year, acts as a mentor to students who first enroll, who are newly enrolled at Deakin University. And it's an opportunity for you to make friends, hear from the mentor about university hacks, what they wish they would have known during their first year. And a lot of the mentees who have participated in the program actually go on to become mentors. And it's a great way to put something onto your resume and get experience on leadership. So this involves 45 minutes each week for 5 weeks, and it's a great way for you to connect and network and make new friends. So I highly encourage you, if you do decide to join Deakin and join our faculty, join the Peer Support Network program. It will just give you just a head start in university life, and I'm sure you won't regret it. That's all I had on my side. I might just pass on to my colleague Nick, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them after my colleagues have had the chance to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adrian, for that wonderful presentation in terms of what information technology degree is offering by the Deakin University, and how this partnership works, and how the first 2 years would really happen here at NIBM, and the amount of experience in terms of the international exposure that they would be getting in when they join the Deakin University after completing their studies here at NIBM. So, my dear students, now it's time to have a look at a video showcasing the business faculty related business analytics degree program of Deakin University, how this experience is going to impact your lives. Let's have a look at that, and let's be right back.
Melbourne's a very competitive city. There are 9 very good universities in Victoria, and we are in the top 3 on all KPIs. Of those in the top 3, I would like to believe we're more applied and more industry friendly. The AACSB was the first accreditation we got. The second accreditation is very complementary with the first. So getting EQUIS accreditation puts us in the top 3 in Victoria, the top 10 in the country, and the top 170 in the world. Bearing in mind there are about 12 to 14,000 business schools in the world. So top 170 is a pretty small group. Not only did we meet the expectations, we exceeded the very high expectations that they set for business schools. So we are in the best of the best. So what it does for students ultimately is make them more employable. I would be updating my CV and I'd be updating my LinkedIn profile, because a lot of employers and a lot of HR departments in big multinationals have heard of EQUIS and AACSB, no question. And those students, there's no doubt in my mind, are going to the market with an unfair advantage.
Welcome back, dear students. Now it's time for me to introduce Mr. Nicholas Tranquil, the Coordinator, International Partnerships and the Faculty of Business and Law of the Deakin University of Australia, who is going to speak to you all today about this very important business analytics degree program that is exclusively offered to Sri Lanka through the National Institute of Business Management. Over to you, Mr. Nicholas.
Fantastic. Thank you for the introduction, Dr. Budima. And it's great to be able to speak to students today about what we have to offer. My name is Nicholas. I'm the Coordinator of International Partnerships for the Faculty of Business and Law at Deakin. So today I will be talking a bit more about what we have to offer in terms of the course and the pathway that we specifically have with NIBM. But also I want to spend a little bit of time as well talking to you about the world of analytics, which is a discipline where you may want to adventure yourself in for any career aspirations you may have. So just a little bit about the Deakin Business School. So you would have heard in the video our Dean of the Business School talk, Professor Mike Ewing. So the slides there show you a little bit of snapshots in terms of ranking that we do have. Ranking is particularly important for business schools in the world because there are so many of them, up to 14,000. So ranking has to actually show you how institutions differ from one to the other. As from the most recent rankings, you would see that we rank in the top 1% in sport, finance, accounting, and law. Our MBA program online ranks 20th in the world as well. But one thing that you may want to look at is the business and management subject ranking, where the analytics discipline fall into. Analytics doesn't have a ranking separately, so in terms of business analytics, it is factored into business and management. So you would see that we rank in the top 200 in the world, which is fantastic. In addition to this, we also boast two prestigious international accreditations. One of them is the EQUIS accreditation, which is a European accreditation. And the other one is AACSB, which is an American one. So out of about 13 to 14,000 business schools, only 150 business schools have them in the world, and only 10 in Australia. So that already shows you how great the business school is within the Deakin University. Accreditation also show you that there is a big sign of rigor in terms of the academic component that we deliver to you, but also in terms of the support that we provide within the business school. And you would also have heard from our dean that being able to evolve in a university that have accreditation like these make you more employable, because employers, they may not have heard about Deakin previously, but they would definitely have heard about accreditation and the value that brings to a graduate and for a resume. If we were to delve a bit more in the world of analytics, so this is probably a field that you are considering as your career. By definition, business analytics is the process by which businesses use statistical methods and technologies to analyze historical or current data to gain new insights and improve strategic decision making. Nowadays, companies want to become more sophisticated in being able to predict customer trends, being able to see patterns so that they can make informed decisions. This has been more prevalent with COVID for certain countries where they are potentially able to use those data to inform, what the vaccination rate should be, or be able to trend how many cases will happen in the future. The business analytics overall is also a versatile career. What I mean by that is the skills that you develop can be transposed to various sectors, can be applied to transport, the energy sector, the health sector, education, for example. So it's not like you pigeonhole to one sector that you would need to go into. People would typically assume, I was one of them, that after completing the course you would need to work in IT, but that's highly incorrect, because you can work and evolve in different areas. It's also a discipline that is booming and will continue to grow in the next 5-10 years, if not more than that. So this little table here actually shows you the trends of these three roles, which are probably the three roles our students get the most after completing this course. As you can see, the job growth for the next 5 years is double-digit growth, which is fantastic to see. But more interestingly as well, the amount of job opportunities in these areas are immense. And as for the salary, you can see that, in average, a business analyst earned $110,000 a year, which is quite a huge salary in Australian context for a professional. To know this may not be necessary after you graduate, but this is an average combined salary for people with these roles. So you can try this at home or now. If you go on the seek.com.au website, which is an employment service that we have, and you type business analyst in Australia, you'll see the amount of jobs that appear, and you would also be able to see the salaries that employers are willing to pay to get these types of skill set and expertise within the organizations. Now, if we want to delve more about the course that we offer within the business school, which is the Bachelor of Business Analytics, which we have the pathway with NIBM. So it's a leading course in the state. It's the first bachelor degree in that field in Victoria, which we're very proud of. It's a course that's accredited by the Australian Computer Society, ACS. And the skills that you develop with this course are sought after skills that are, whether that's in Australia or internationally. And interestingly as well, the demand exceeds the supply for fresh and qualified graduates. So this is something that I want to draw your attention upon. So what that means is after you graduate, you're pretty sure that you'll be able to get a role in that field after you complete this course at Deakin. And finally, the course is developed with industry advisory board in mind, and this probably applies to all courses at Deakin. But for the purpose of this course, we don't want to teach students only the theoretical aspect and academic things only, but we want to pair it with the practical aspects. So that's why we do get those industry bodies to inform our curriculum, to inform the case study that we should work with, so that a graduate after he or she has completed 3 years are also knowledgeable about the trends that's happening out there, not something that is in a book that may not be something that is quite current. So the type of organization that we work with are, for example, Epworth Health, PwC, and BP, for example. So ranging from different sectors as well. We also work with industry partners for our capstone units, for example. Capstone units are those units that typically is done at the end of your degree in your 3rd year, which encompass and where students use all the other units that they've learned in the course through a big project that they do in the third year. And we do have industry experts bodies that provide us with those case study to our students. Secondly, we do have tools and software partners. As I said, we do invest a lot of time in ensuring that students get the practical component of the course. Hence, students will work with Microsoft software, IBM, Tableau, for example, all those analytical software, so that they can understand and being able to put into practice what they're learning. And finally, industry professionals are regularly there providing guest lectures to our students and really talking to them about trends that's happening out there and providing them with that knowledge, that current knowledge that they should be aware of in the analytical field. Another way we are able to provide you with practical experiences is through work integrated learning units. This terminology is quite an Australian and a new terminology, but these experiences are those programs that enhance your job prospects whilst you gain a credit point towards your degree. This is a core and a core unit, so a compulsory component of the Bachelor of Business Analytics at Deakin. So you can undertake 3 different experiences. So first one is a consultancy experience where you work for a client who is facing a problem and you'll need to come up with recommendations to what they're facing. For example, I think it was in December last year, one group worked with Samley's Tea, which I would think a lot of you would be aware of who that company is, who wanted to expand in Australia. So they had to come up with recommendations on how they should do that. Secondly, we do have internship experiences, which is more your traditional method where you go in an organization for a particular role that you do. And then an entrepreneurship experience, which is more geared for those students that have more of that creative or entrepreneurial mindset, where you can actually pitch a startup ideas to a board of professionals. And should you be successful, you are also able to get some equity to invest in that startup, which is fantastic. And these are some of the organizations that students have done those experiences with, and that's just to name a few. We do have plenty of those. As I discussed previously as well, the course is accredited by ACS. Adrian did touch on the importance of accreditation and why that's so meaningful. To add to this, it places graduates in such a great position in the job market in both in Australia or internationally, because it's the peak body of IT courses. Also, after you've completed the course, you'll gain entry to be a professional member of that body, and will also open immense ways for you to network with like-minded professionals. This will help you get a job or gain new insights about what's happening with the sector. So it's highly beneficial to have a course that is accredited by a professional body. When you go into the workforce, if you look at person A who has done the same course as you, but with not an accrediting course, whereas you having completing a course with ACS, there is no question that the person who would have more advantage of securing the job would be yourself. So this is highly, highly valuable, something to consider. I've already touched on this, but this is, in a nutshell, the type of roles that our graduates have gone into. Most of them would be business analysts, but some of them have gone into those other roles as well. And interestingly, in a recent survey, 62% of Asia Pacific companies, including Australia and Sri Lankan companies, had plans to hire data analytics graduates up to 35% from the previous year. So we are very, very confident to say that Deakin graduates have the business mindset and practical experience needed to meet this demand moving forward. Now, it's all good to have all these skills, all these learning that you've acquired, but we also want you to be work ready, and we do have a dedicated team that helps you with that, which is Deakin Talent. So their programs and services are designed to empower students to explore a range of career opportunities and build your skills so that you are able to step out of Deakin and land a role and build your career where you want to go into. Interestingly, this service has been ranked #1 for University Career Service in Australia 3 years in a row. We've recently won the Victorian Government Award for Excellence in International Student Employability and Career Development, and we've ranked #1 for overall education experience in Victoria 4 years in a row. So it's a highly, highly awarded service that the university is very proud of, but that students can use from the time they join Deakin up until after they graduate. So this service remains even after you graduate. So if you want to use that, find a job after 4 years you're into your career, or use the service to get help with your resume, you can use that. So it is for life for you, for Deakin alumni. This is a snapshot of the services and programs that they offer, ranging from pre-departure programs up until the graduate job search program. So it offers a job portal where students can look for roles, internship opportunities, and we also regularly organize Experience and Employment Expo, where students are able to network with organizations, which is fantastic. Now, if all of this is, if after all of this you believe, which I hope you do, that you would want to work to join Deakin and use NIBM as the pathway, you are able to undertake either the diploma or the HND and gain entry to the second year of the Bachelor of Business Analytics with 2 years to complete at Deakin. Or if you do the HND of Information Systems, you can join the second year, but the second half of the second year with only 1.5 years to complete a Deakin. And finally, I want to leave you on 3 points which Adrian has some of them have been discussed by Adrian, but 3 points. The IT and the big data areas are booming. It's a great choice of career, and a career that you may want to really consider in the future. Deakin focuses on your student experience and satisfaction. This is our priority. And finally, we ensure that you're work ready after you complete your studies. So 3 key points that I hope will help you make a decision to, 1, evolve with Deakin University, and secondly, undertake the Bachelor of Business Analytics. Well, that's all for me, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Nicholas, for that wonderful keynote in terms of giving us an idea and a background to what the business analytics degree is all about and what sort of an experience a student will be gaining when they graduate eventually from Deakin University of Australia, especially speaking of the industry collaborations and the support that is provided through the Deakin University for the business analytics degree students is fantastic, and I'm sure our students would be looking forward to grab those opportunities. And students, let us now move forward to having a look at what being a graduate at Deakin University is about, and we will move forward with the session.
As we move towards 2022, what have we learned about the effect the COVID pandemic has had on the job market? How does it impact graduate employment prospects and sought-after skills?
Burning Glass Technologies reviews millions of online job ads each year from tens of thousands of different web sources. These are some of Deakin's findings when they compared 2020 occupations and skills data to 1 year prior in 2019.
As we would have expected, some occupations declined in demand in 2020. However, some of these are still our most in-demand occupations overall. We'll have to wait and see how quickly these industries and occupations rebound in the future. On the other hand, some occupations suffered very little impact from the challenges of 2020, with little variation in demand compared to 2019. Here are the top 25 occupations by volume of job advertisement in 2020. Study areas offered by Deakin's 4 faculties prepare students for the top jobs of the future.
How about skills for the future? Demand for specific skills increased during 2020 compared to 2019. And perhaps it's not surprising that many of these were health industry related, although data-related skills also stood out. Taking another look at the top occupations and top skills, you can see that courses offered across Deakin's 4 faculties provide relevant, future-focused education opportunities for our students.
At Deakin, we watch industry movements closely to make sure we understand, as well as we can, the shifts and emerging trends in demand. This information informs our faculties, who work tirelessly with industry partners and advisors to create courses that are relevant, current, and best placed for future workplace demand.
Deakin Talent is Deakin University's multi-award-winning, 24/7, anytime, anywhere career service, committed to supporting you to achieve your career development and employability outcomes. We use a broad range of cutting-edge digital career tools to deliver a high-touch, personalized experience for you. Deakin Talent's extensive suite of programs and services are open to all students and graduates, and many of our guided and on-demand offerings have been developed exclusively for you as international students. For example, our Deakin Talent International Student Careers, or DISC program, will support you to understand the Australian labour market, strengthen your professional network, and apply targeted job search strategies. Deakin Talent has been voted most popular career service in Australia 4 years in a row by the Australian Association of Graduate Employers.
According to the 2020 Graduate Outcome Survey, Deakin is among the top performing Australian universities for overall employment outcomes, including having the best employment rate in Victoria for bachelor degree graduates. We've also been named the winner in the Excellence in International Student Employability and Career Development category of the 2020 Victorian International Education Awards.
Get in touch with Deakin or an appointed representative to find out how Deakin can help you find your best career opportunities ahead.
So dear students, that was a little bit about what Deakin University is going to offer you in terms of the graduate opportunities. And of course, we here at NIBM, we are ready to provide you with all of those opportunities with this important partnership. So to talk to you more about this, we do have Ms. Sandy Senviratna joining with us from the Deakin International Sri Lanka Country Office. She is the Senior Partnerships Coordinator of Deakin International Sri Lanka Country Office. Over to you, Ms. Sandy Senviratna, to speak to our students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Buddhima, for that very gracious introduction. And I just, before I start today, I'd just like to thank our lovely host, NIBM, the students, and my colleagues, Adrian and Nick as well. What I'll be covering very briefly is, first of all, the investment that you will be making in your future, and actually the cost benefits to you from taking up the NIBM pathway to Deakin. And then I'll be talking very briefly about scholarships. Of course, I'm sure that's a very popular topic for you all. And then also your next steps, what you do after this session if you need to find out more information. So before I go into this, I'm talking about your investment and the costing. Really, it's very important to recognize the current situation we're undergoing as a nation, globally as well. And this is, of course, given huge constraints to students, to families. So, of course, where you can be financially effective, of course, that is a pathway you should look into taking. And the other issue here is, as you may well know, the Australian borders are currently closed to international students. And we are hopeful that these will be opening up at some point later next year. However, really, what students are faced with at the moment is not being able to travel. So where you're not being able to travel, really taking up a pathway, a recognized pathway, such as something we have with NIBM, you can still study at NIBM locally and travel to Deakin to continue your studies. And of course, with that, there are some fantastic cost savings. Dr. Buddham actually did touch upon this initially when she was doing the introductions, but let me just go through this very quickly with you. So the major cost benefit really here is that you are going to be entering Deakin in Australia after 1 year of study at NIBM. So what that means is you are effectively saving on 1 year of tuition plus living and accommodation costs. So Dr. Buddhama did mention that there was potentially over 8 million rupees to be saved for that year. So let me just go into detail about how we come up to that breakdown. So with your annual tuition costs, depending on the degree that you are undertaking, it would be on average between 34,000 and 36,000 Australian dollars without a scholarship. So that is the approximate fee for a Deakin undergrad degree, and including the 3 pathway degrees to Deakin. So, and this actually comes to approximately about 4.9 to 5.2 million rupees a year just on that tuition fee. And then there's something that all students, all international students, would have to consider, and this is a requirement from the Australian government, and this is the yearly allocation for your living and accommodation costs in Australia for 1 year. And at the moment, and as of 2019 and currently, that figure is set to Australian dollars 21,041. So let's round it up to about $21,000, and that's another about 3.07 million. So when you add these two together, it actually comes to over 8 million. And that is your total investment for 1 year were you to be in Deakin from year 1. So it's a fantastic cost benefit to you. And the most important thing is to know that you are going to be studying with a quality, trusted provider here in Sri Lanka as a pathway to us, and your outcome. So you end up with a Deakin degree once you transfer to Australia, and the outcome is exactly the same as if you had studied at Deakin from day 1. And that is the wonderful thing about this. So you actually get to save a lot, and you get the exact same outcome as if you had been a Deakin student from day 1. There's no difference in the degree certificate. So whether you go from the NIBM pathway or you're at Deakin from year 1, the 2 degree certificates, there's no mention of pathway study. It's the certificate is as if you have studied from at Deakin from the very first day. So moving on to my next scholarships, and this is something that all students are very interested in knowing. So when a student studies at NIBM for that first year, they are eligible depending on their academic performance, and these are all scholarships given to academic performance at Deakin. We do, of course, consider your extracurriculars, but really we focus on how well you've done academically. So there are 3 options, and so the first two, the Vice-Chancellor's International Scholarship and the Deakin International Scholarships, any student from any discipline. So whether you're from the Faculty of Computing or you're going into the Faculty of Business Management, you can apply for those, provided you meet the minimum entry criteria for those scholarships. For the Vice Chancellor scholarships, we are looking at very high academic standing, and that would be roughly around over 85% of weighted average performance in your diploma. So from your NIBM diploma, you would have to obtain a very strong first class in order to be eligible to apply for a 50 or 100% tuition fee scholarship from us. And then we've got the international scholarship, that's 25%. And for that, you would need about a 65% weighted average mark. So that is that's about a 2-1, a second upper from your diploma studies at NIBM. And then the final scholarship, this is actually for the Faculty of Computing students, because it's a STEM scholarship. Therefore, any student who is undertaking a science, engineering, technology, mathematics type of degree, this is an automatically given scholarship. So if you have over 65% WAM, which is the weighted average from NIBM, you would be guaranteed a 20% discount on your tuition fees. So from that, I went back and told you about the costing. That costing was without any of these scholarships applied. So really, the key is do well academically, because you can make sure that you save your parents even more money. Roughly, this automatic STEM comes to about $8,000. So that's quite a hefty concession for you if you can manage to get it. And you can always find out more about our scholarships on our website, or speak to our partner in IBM, or even have a chat with us, and we'd be happy to talk to you more on that. And now we're coming to the very end of our session here today. So before we go on to the thanks, let me just tell you about your next steps. So you've attended this session, and perhaps you're a bit curious about what else to do. What are your next steps? What more can you do? What do you want to know? First port of call, our partner NIBM. So give them a call. I've put the number there. You can speak to Miss Kumari, and there's also Mr. Mevin. So do call them, because they are your port of call for any inquiries, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. And the other thing, whether you come to Deakin or you're just interested in studying abroad, it's so important to do your own research. So this is something you can do for yourself. You have to explore your opportunities, find out more about the degree area that you're interested in, and life about Deakin, life in Australia. Our website provides a wealth of resources for this kind of thing. So please go to deakin.edu.au, and you'll be able to find out more details about everything we actually covered. The course content, you can go into the unit outlines, you can look at the accreditations for each of the courses, you can go into in-depth detail about the scholarships I just talked to you about, as well as life in Australia, living in accommodation, and all of that. So the next steps for you really is to get in touch with NIBM, but if you have any questions for the Deakin team, you're also very welcome to contact me, and that is my direct contact number here and the Sri Lanka email address. So do note, maybe take a screenshot or just take a picture. You can note that down and reach us. And so I hope this session has been useful for you today. Thank you so much for your time. We're looking very forward to welcoming you to Deakin. If that is your choice, we would love to have you. And also would like to, on behalf of my colleagues, Adrian and Nicholas, thank you, Dr. Buddhima and NIBM for this session today. And thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much, dear Sandy, for that lovely session in terms of giving our students a background about the accommodation, life at Deakin, and what sort of a living experience they would be getting, and also with regards to the costings and the scholarship opportunities that Deakin University provides. Brilliant. Thank you so much. So students, it's now time to move on for the question and answer session. If you do have any questions, we still have 5 minutes to take them up, and we can go for a discussion.
Feel free to ask us anything. And something I'd also like to add, students, is the post-study work. So when students study for a minimum of 2 years in Australia, you would be, is it possible to complete the full degree in Sri Lanka? If you wish to, you can. Yes, it would depend on the degree you're undertaking, but all of our, if I'm not wrong, Adrian and Nick, all three of these pathways, they do have completion options, but really the completion option is via our cloud. So that means after you study with the NIBM pathway, you would then remain in Sri Lanka and join our cloud, which is our online virtual campus. This has all the benefits and facilities and the study support. So everything that Adrian and Nicholas talked to you about the levels of support, the opportunities, that platform is identical to what students at Deakin in Australia use. So that outreach, that support, the opportunities are still available for students, and the outcomes are exactly the same. So yes, it is possible. I hope I answered that. Adrian, Nick, anything you'd like to add?
Oh, I think did you finish about the post-work rights?
No, I didn't. I didn't actually. Thanks for that, Nick. Yes, so the post-study work rights really is probably a very attractive feature for why students do opt to transfer. Other than the fact that it's a beautiful experience to actually be in Australia and be on campus and get that next level experience, there's another added perk, and that is this post-study work right. So under the current Australian government rules, students are entitled to work as a graduate in Australia after they complete their degrees, and that is after a minimum of 2 years of study, 2 years or 16 credits of study spent in Australia. So depending on the campus, you may recall earlier Adrian covered the types of campuses we have. So if you are at Burwood, Melbourne campus, that would be 2 years that you get. But actually, if you were at Geelong, any of our Geelong campuses or even our Warrnambool campuses, you would get 3 and 4 years respectively on your post-study work rights. And really what this allows you to do is work without restriction in employment, so at that graduate level, and get that employment exposure that you would ideally be wanting. So it's unrestricted work, because as you know, when a student is studying as a full-time student, there is a limit on the type of work and the work that you can do. So it's 40 hours, it's limited to 40 hours every fortnight, so 40 hours every 2 weeks. But with the post-study work, there is no limit. You can actually work full-time without any issue. So thank you for that, Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sandy, for that clarification, and also for answering the question that was raised by one of our students. And students, do we have any other questions?
I think, well,
yes,
you are always welcome to reach out to NIBM colleagues or myself as per the screen. So please, you might have questions later. Don't be shy. Feel free to drop us an email or give us a call. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Definitely, yes. And like was mentioned, National Institute of Business Management stands uniquely amongst the universities in Sri Lanka with the skill development, the industry collaboration, the international collaboration, and the mentoring we do for our students, providing the opportunity for our students to get an extensive training to grab the best industry opportunity out there. So we are looking forward to welcome all of you to join with us with the School of Computing and Engineering for the degree programs of Bachelor of Software Engineering Honors, Bachelor of Information Technology, and the Bachelor of Business Analytics degree program that we have partnered with the Deakin University. So I wish you all the very best to earn a degree from Deakin University through NIBM, and I encourage you all to be graduates who are ready to grab the new opportunities in a smart world, being skilled, technology and insight-driven graduates at the end of the day. And also, let me take this opportunity to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Adrian, to the Partnerships Coordinator, International Partnerships of the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Built Environments of the Deakin University of Australia, and Mr. Nicholas Tranquil, Coordinator of the International Partnerships of the Faculty of Business and Law of the Deakin University of Australia, and Ms. Sandy Senaviratna, Senior Partnerships Coordinator of Deakin International Sri Lanka Country Office, who is there to support you all, to educate you all, and give insights on what this partnership is all about and what the pathway is all about for you all to begin your Deakin degree here at NIBM. So finally, I conclude requesting all of you to embrace this beautiful journey, choose to shine, and achieve your dream at NIBM. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Buddhima, for that lovely appreciation.